Virgin River's Alexandra Breckenridge has been acting since she was 15, and she's been in some of the most popular TV shows and films, making her a fan favorite for multiple cult followers. The actress is now 40 and has lived in Los Angeles for most of her life, but this new phase of her life required a big move, all the way to Atlanta's quaint suburbs. Let's get into why she shunned LA life and what her life's like. First off, why did she move out of Los Angeles? The Virgin River lead tied the knot back in 2015 with guitarist Casey Hooper, and they welcomed their children in the consecutive years. Since then, the little tots have grown up, and Breckenridge thought they'd do well with moving to an open area where they could be more carefree. Life in a big city like LA isn't ideal if you've got a couple of children on your hands. In addition to that, you can easily get lost in a big city and become one of the many individuals living there. It's like everyone's running their own races, and that doesn't leave any room for community building. Given Alexandria's own childhood in the rural areas of Connecticut, she wanted her children to experience a similar kind of childhood filled with exploratory fun. The couple found that the rural areas around Georgia provided an amazing sense of community that the children would benefit from as they grew up. Luckily for the both of them, Georgia's entertainment industry is thriving as well, and their move to the two-story house has brought them closer to work too. Following up, let's take a look at the interior of her Boco Chic house. The current family scenario has the foursome happily settled in a quiet neighborhood just outside Atlanta, in a two-story house they've made their own. They've had to do a considerable amount of renovation, as the previous owner's aesthetic was more traditional on the 90s side, which Alexandra compared it to the McAllister house from Home Alone. Her husband Casey recalled a lot of browns, dark reds, and heavy curtains at her mention of the classic Christmas flick. Fortunately, his mother, Rebecca Cartwright, is an interior designer who assisted them in transforming the circa 2008 cottage into a lighter, more relaxing dwelling. According to Cartwright, her son and daughter-in-law have an eclectic, boho aesthetic influenced by their time in California. She consulted Bobo Intriguing Objects and Serena and Lily Furnishings for most of the interior, but a desk for Alexandra's office was made by a designer at a woodworking company that's known for its distinct glazes. Cheeky photos and pictures from Hollywood added a personal touch to the house. The kitchen wallpaper might seem like it's got sea creatures on it, but they're actually various floating fruits, which Alexandra instantly loved and bought from Walnut in LA. The kitchen was further lightened by changing the backsplash, pendants, and hardware. When it came to their son Jack's room, they wanted it to be adult-friendly as well, so the tones stayed muted with wood-mimicking wallpaper and splashes of blue here and there in cushions or pictures. The signature addition is a custom daybed for the adults. The Walking Dead actress commended her mother-in-law's profession as she picked up on their style very quickly and got pieces that suited their liking, but both husband and wife give credit to Georgia as the real draw. Moving on, what does the actress have to say about turning 40? In an interview with New Beauty, the This Is Us fan favorite shared her feelings regarding hitting the feared 40-year-old mark. She admitted that she'd been anticipating turning 40 ever since her 37th birthday passed. It's been made into a huge milestone for women, especially actresses, as the common belief is that older women aren't good for the screen. Naturally, she was nervous about entering her 40s, and ashamedly admitted that she was afraid of aging due to these very reasons. However, once the actress survived her birthday, she realized that it wasn't as big of a deal as it had been made into. Actors are people too, and age like anyone else, and once she realized that, Alexandra found herself becoming grateful for how far she'd come in life and where she is now. At the end of it all, she found that the fear of aging had diminished to quite an extent. But still, the actress has introduced more products into her skincare routine in efforts to keep up with it, reducing the fine lines and general effects of aging. Like any other person, she wants her skin to keep looking healthy and plump. Some of her favorites include the New Face and LED lamps, as they can be used during work. Although she hasn't experimented with it yet, she's also interested in lasers. Slowly but surely, Alexandra is on a journey to accept the process of aging rather than fear it, while also carrying out routines to inhibit it. Next up, what's the story behind her doting husband? If you're a fan of Virgin River, it'll be difficult to believe that Alexandra Breckenridge and Martin Henderson aren't actually in a relationship. They're just that excellent at acting and have incredible on-screen chemistry. The actress has been married to Katy Perry's lead guitarist, Casey Hooper, since 2015. The pair met at a Grammys after-party years ago when they were both living in California. Alexandra was pursuing her acting career at the time, landing roles in programs such as American Horror Story and The Walking Dead, while Casey was wrapping up a world tour with the pop diva. The couple hit it off right away and eventually married on September 13th, 2015. Company in Dunton Springs, Colorado. Now for married life. How do they balance careers and family? Fast forward to a year after their wedding. They welcomed their first son, Jack. The name is now a bit ironic, isn't it? Pretty soon after, they had a daughter who they named Billy, and this sweet little family is now living in Georgia. And if you're wondering what that's like, we'll let you know. Both husband and wife are career-driven and have packed schedules when they're working. According to Alexandra, juggling parental responsibilities with work is nearly impossible, and she still doesn't know how it's done, if there's a certain way to do it. A packed work life means the children will be neglected, but if she's to spend more time with her family, she won't be on top of work. So it's pretty difficult to manage both aspects of adult life. Eventually, she believes you can just try your best to balance them out and not beat yourself up over every little thing. Next, how did the beloved star get into acting? Alexandra grew up in the woodsy areas of Connecticut, Darien being the one place her family stayed the longest. As a child, she had a very vivid imagination due to the amount of time she had to spend with her mother while she studied and worked, given that the actress was born when her mother was only 19. She loved watching films and cartoons and took her inspiration from characters that she adored. Eventually, it built up to her role playing those characters and enjoying acting. Once she turned 11, her family moved to California and she lived in Los Angeles for more than 20 years, which is where she got into acting around the young age of 15. Since the late 90s, she's appeared in popular films like Big Fat Liar and She's the Man, along with prominent roles in multiple TV shows, such as American Horror Story and The Walking Dead, with her most memorable performance being Sophie on This Is Us, before she became known for starring on Virgin River. Finally, how does she feel about the fame she's gathered from Virgin River? Alexandra shared that they weren't expecting the show to do as well as it did, but it's still continuing to grow its audience, and she doesn't really know how to deal with the increased interest in her yet. The way she's experienced success is in the increase of press around her, and of course, more people recognize her now. Despite being in the industry since her early teens, she still feels awkward about the attention she's been receiving. In her interview with New Beauty, she talked about the recent shooting for Virgin River. In her opinion, some episodes were really intense and difficult to do, but she was excited to get into them, given that the stakes were raised and there was more drama. At the end of the day, anticipating fans' reactions makes her excited, and since they're making shows for people, it makes sense. She went on to appreciate her career as a whole, along with the fact that she's been able to do what she loves for so long now. The actress is well aware that everyone doesn't get the chance to succeed at multiple roles throughout their life, but she has. Despite the difficulties, the 40-year-old finds it hard to complain. Her humility as a celebrity is a rare trait to come by, and while we're impressed by her work, we're even more impressed by her personality. And that's all for this video, guys. What do you think about Alexandra's big move and her work on Virgin River? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.